How can I track and measure the effectiveness of my roofing SEO?
Basically, we use three Google tools for tracking performance. We use Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and be wary of anybody showing you third-party, any form of third-party analytics.
How can I track and measure the effectiveness of my roofing SEO efforts? And guys, what are the most important tools to use? I'm going to go over some of it. This one bothers me a little bit because most people are, just looking at a couple of things, or someone's screwing you around. They're showing you third-party metrics, and you've got to really be careful here. We'll show you a couple of things to look at, my view on it, and if you actually want to go look at it. So if anybody's ever told you before, and I know they do, it's like you call up your SEO and they're like, Bob, you're doing fine here. And you're like, bro, I'm dying. It's like, no, we've got 1,800 people showing up to the website and this and that and the other. And you're like literally dying over there. And they're literally bringing up really bad metrics, showing you crawlers and bots and bull crud.
Showing you impressions
and things. And meanwhile, your phone's not ringing. So my favorite method, and, I don't know where you are, how many people there are, but you can get daily phone call volume as a roofer, almost just a call or two just off of Google Maps, ChatGPT, Bing, and Gemini AI, all the organic items. A call or two a day is reasonable for a half well-running effort in a small-ish area.
Yeah.
Now, let's call it a couple 100,000 people. But if you're in a town of 5 million, we've had clients get 30 calls a day every day with no storm.
Yeah.
So that'll just give you, 5 million and divide it up, whatever your population metro is, and divide it by 5 million times in 30 and do your math on it. And so somebody got 1 million, what is that, Jason? Like 6? So if you had 1 million, you can do 6. If you had 250,000 or 333,000, you can do, 2, 1. But roof calls are extremely important. So I'm going to back off a topic here a minute because it got me thinking about it. You make $5,000-$10,000 just on a residential roof.
One.
Yeah, just one. So why somebody wouldn't fight for this and act reasonable about your marketing? I know this isn't in what our marketing manager here wanted to go over, but I'm gonna riff on this for a minute.
He's over off the side going.
Yeah, no. It's ridiculous that people don't market.
It is.
It's ridiculous. We are less expensive than we were because of DataPins and AI integration into that. DataPins that take 60 to 90 seconds. But the human being having to do everything in here has lowered the fees, but it still costs something.
Yeah.
I had a guy today tell me he thought it should be $75, and it's not 75 bucks. Not anywhere near so. We have a whole team of people in here in Texas, in Fort Worth, and it costs something. But the roofs, if somebody does 100 roofs, 200 roofs, 300 roofs, you have a hell of a good business, hell of a good life. So these are things you should work on, and you should track the metrics. And yeah, I know you've probably gotten screwed around by people who told you that you were getting good effort and you weren't. And it was a parlor trick. But that doesn't mean you quit trying or that everybody does that.
Yeah.
My favorite check is just that you can pinch yourself and your phone rings every day. Your bank account went up. My next favorite check is to check your analytics is to go into Google Analytics, which we put on every page of the website. It's the only one you can trust. It'll go, if you don't mind, go over all the things that it can track.
Okay, yeah. Basically, we use three Google tools for tracking performance. We use Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and the performance metrics from Google Business Profile.
Right.
Analytics can show you raw traffic. It can show you which pages on the site are getting most of the traffic. It can show you geographically where your clicks are coming from, down to I think if you dig in far enough, it'll go down to the county level.
Right.
So you can see from there how much traffic you're getting and if it's relevant to you. I'm gonna loop back to this in a second. Google Search Console will show you the keywords you're being tracked for, and what position you're occupied for them in any given time span. And it'll also let you check stuff and make sure the general health of your website pages are being indexed and stuff like that.
Right.
And then the Google Business Profile metrics are, if you have a Google Business Profile, it's that little button that says performance. That'll pop up and that'll tell you how many people are looking at your profile, how many times you've been seen on maps in the last 90 days or whatever. It'll give you your top 5 key phrases that you're showing up for. It'll show you how many calls you got directly from the Call Now button right there on mapping,
Right.
which is great. So my favorite one these days is the Google Business Metrics, because that shows more relevant stuff to a local guy
Right.
than Google Search Console is still good and analytics is still good, but Google Business Profile I think is the most
But
relevant.
you can break out LSA, Google Guaranteed, paid ads. All
Oh
that.
yeah. You know, I forgot
To
that.
organic
Yeah, it
optimization.
breaks it down and says this was paid, this was organic, yada yada yada. So you can see over time how organic is a greater percentage, if you're doing it right, is a greater percentage of your overall
hundreds
traffic.
of percent less. We focus on organic, and it's a crying shame how many roofers will get going, cancel marketing, spend $5,000 on LSA or paid ads, and assume that's where they're all coming from, out of their own ego getting in front of them and tripping over it, and then stopping marketing on the thing that was 500% better and more. And
I
cheaper.
had a tense discussion
Yeah.
with a client a couple of days ago because they had just become convinced that you could only rank in paid, that organic was dead.
Right.
And I was like, okay, there's not a lot showing up on organic in your market, but you haven't been with us very long and you haven't done many pins at all.
Right.
And this is what will change that. And they were hard to convince.
So most clicks come from organic optimization.
Right.
Most come from the mapping. Some come from Gemini AI, that's organic. Some come from Bing mapping, or ChatGPT, that's organic. And so that's 70+% of people are going to these places. I bring it up because it's so much less expensive. So you want to track the effectiveness of your SEO, but you need to understand really where the place is. And if you want to knock thoughts out of your head, I say it all the time, it's in a trick. Just type in roofer in my market, Dallas, whoever it is, look at the top 3, 5. Those are all the top dogs in your market because that's where all the phone calls come, or that's where the lion's share of the phone calls come from. We have added AI, and we have AI inside DataPins, and we do very well there as well. But you just want all those organic items you can get to track the SEO. And if you fight for that and you don't give up and you don't stop, it gets better and better and better. You're in major markets. This is something to fight for and go after every single thing you can get your hands on. And it's easy to track, but guys don't look at it. And the people who care, and a few people. I'm not going to tell you it's super easy to jump up in rankings on primary keywords. Let's use our main town around us, Dallas. But you can get all kinds of keywords to show up for daily calls, and then continue to work on keywords to show up. And if you're ever up in a town, it's daily phone call volume for, and the leads are
Especially a
ludicrous.
market like Dallas.
Yeah, they're so much better than what you're used to getting from paid of any kind. The only paid I kind of like is LSA. You know, any other paid, any lead source is gonna, like, 90% of y'all hate it. I've talked to y'all for years. And if you're a roofer and you're trying to go for stuff like just roofer, shingle, you know, roof insurance claims helper, then you get one TPO job, you could pay for us for a decade. One TPO job, and we'll optimize you for that too. But and you know, we'll optimize for everything from a shingle roof and an insurance deal to tile, metal, sheet metal fabrication stuff, just anything around the category. And if you're up north, it's a tiny bit different. We can do a lot more exterior work,
Right.
a lot more construction related work to get up in rankings as well. Guys, we have done this for 15 years, helping roofers. We've had DataPins map and AI ranking app for the last 6 years active. We have helped.
It's crazy that it's been that long.
I know we've helped many of you guys make millions and get daily calls and grow on a month in, month out basis. We've got clients we've had for a long time. If you have questions, call us. We like analytics. We do install it. Real analytics. We don't do the.
I wanted to
Yeah,
mention
go
the
ahead.
third
You're
party
coming
thing.
back around.
Yeah, I wanted to come back to it. is be wary of anybody showing you third-party, any form of third-party analytics. The big ones you'll most often see is people send you SEMrush reports, or another website is Ahrefs does a report. And it's not that either of those is necessarily a bad tool, but those tools are designed to track SEO at like the national or worldwide level. They don't have any tools for specific local SEO. And those reports will be way off reality as a result.
Let me say it in a different way. They're guessing. So
that too.
They're guessing. So when we're in the roofer's account with the analytics, we have the actual numbers.
Right.
Because I have had people call up here before in SEMrush or SEMrush. I did an SEMrush or SEMrush report and said this. I said, we are your marketer. We're in the Google console. We're looking at the numbers. The SEMrush report is irrelevant. It's a guess.
Right.
And they said, but it said that. I don't care what it said. It's guessing. We're in the actual Google Analytics. And by the way, this is usually pinged off of your Gmail. We can show you how to look at it. Yeah. I'm not saying there's a bunch of stuff you heard Jason talking about.
Yeah, any of our clients that want to look at the raw data, we're like, hey, here you go.
Here's
check
the
it
raw
out.
data.
And then they have to call me and ask what the hell it means.
So if you want to be reasonable and rational and grow your business and actually get dominant, and you should look at this stuff. And you shouldn't be a victim of somebody's lies and stuff. And you shouldn't be looking at stuff. It's just like going on TikTok too much, and they've got you in the algorithm, and you run down a rabbit hole, and now you're all aflutter over something that's complete nonsense because you're looking at bad metrics and looking at it, and then people are saying, SEO dead, what? Your phone's ringing every day, and you don't know why or how or what. You, by God, better know, because if you start ripping up and down and marketing and coming and going, you're not going to be one of those top 3 to 5 dogs in your market that makes money and has a good life. Bought the lake house, invested money, invested money, then bought the lake house. Bought the lake house, had to sell it so you could invest money. But your phone kept ringing because you're with the roofing webmasters and you made more money anyway. All right.
Buy that boat.
Guys, call us when you're ready. Message us. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to help you. We've done it a long time. If you've been watching us a while, call me up. I'll talk to you myself. Take it easy.
Take it easy.